Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
The United States was now at war and was mobilizing for a fight unlike any other. America truly was a sleeping giant that had just been awoken. The need to train hundreds of thousands of volunteers and draftees presented a problem. Regular Army posts were already bursting at the seams, and new camps of instruction would need to be created. Codenamed the Lewiston Project, Camp Ellis would be located in between the towns of Table Grove, Ipava, and Bernadotte. Its location was picked due to its flat terrain and proximity to Galesburg, an important railroad center at the time. Construction of the camp began in September 1942. Despite many setbacks, the camp was completed in 6 months. The official dedication of Camp Ellis took place on July 4th, 1943. Some 50,000 visitors attended the ceremonies. Camp Ellis was a streamlined military city of one-story barracks, complete water and drainage systems, fire department, modern hospital, warehouses, recreational facilities, and a prisoner of war camp. The primary mission of Camp Ellis was to provide basic training for service of supply troops. These include quartermaster, transportation, medical, signal corps, and engineers. Camp Ellis had some of the finest small arms ranges in the country, consisting of 22 courses. The ranges were constructed as to permit firing either simultaneously or independently into one danger area. These ranges would familiarize the soldiers training here with the weapons they would be using in theater. They would include pistols, rifles, submachine guns, rocket launchers, grenades, landmines, and even anti-aircraft weapons. The camp hospital was one of the largest in the country with over 420 beds. It had a pharmacy, a modern dental and orthopedic clinic. It had the latest x-ray, surgical, and diagnostic equipment available. The hospital itself occupied over 140 acres. The confinement of German prisoners of war was an important function assigned to Camp Ellis. At its peak, the camp housed nearly 3,000 prisoners of war. The POWs were treated well. They had jobs either in town or on post and had an allowance of 10 to 80 cents a day depending on their job. The Army provided many leisure opportunities for soldiers at Camp Ellis. They could go to dances, theaters, post exchanges, libraries, rec centers, and also see traveling bands and musicians. Camp Ellis was the only Army installation to have its own radio network. Its weekly broadcast reached over 200,000 listeners. It also published its own newspaper that had a circulation of over 13,000 and was rated the top 6th Army newspaper in the country. When Camp Ellis completed its mission as a unit training center, it could point with pride to the 456 units trained here, ranging from huge engineer regiments to small medical detachments of less than a dozen men. Of this total, the camp trained 58 different types of units. As quickly as it came, the camp was gone soon after the war was over. It officially closed its doors in late 1945. The camp was now gone, and the flourishing towns of Ipava and Table Grove would return to the quiet farming communities they had been before the war. The site was used as a National Guard training area to the late 1940s. By the early 50s, the land and buildings had been auctioned by the government to local farmers. Although the landscape has returned to cornfields and wooded hillsides, many reminders of the camp's existence still remain today. 3 of Camp Ellis's rifle range pits still exist. Although covered with modern graffiti, one can imagine soldiers pulling down and marking targets during basic rifle marksmanship training. A few lone chimneys from mess halls still stand solemnly against the sky. Several large concrete structures still remain. Water from the Spoon River still runs over the dam constructed by engineers at Bernadotte. Both of the camp's bomb-proof water towers can still be seen on the horizon. Made with 8-inch thick reinforced concrete, they stand as silent witnesses of the history in the surrounding fields.